What if I told you that in just 30 seconds you could switch your body from stress mode to deep relaxation using a simple yet powerful technique? Most people live in a constant state of tension without even realizing it, but acupressure can help flip the switch almost instantly. Stress isn't just a feeling, it's a full body reaction controlled by your autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is that part of your nervous system that takes care of stress reactions like rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, muscle tension, sweating, and nausea. These reactions happen automatically and can take control over your body and mind, disrupting your peace of mind, relationships, work, and even health. In the next few minutes, I will show you how to regain control and shift out of stress mode so you can feel calm and balanced anywhere, anytime. My name is Dr. Barrett. I'm a chiropractor, nutritionist, herbalist, and I'm an expert in Western acupuncture. I've dedicated my life to helping people avoid unnecessary medications and surgery by giving them options that are both safe and effective. If you find this video valuable, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when more videos like this come out. The first step to gaining control is knowledge. So let's look at the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system has two parts: the sympathetic nervous system, which triggers the body's emergency response, known as the fight or flight system, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes rest and digest, a state where healing and relaxation occur. When you're stressed, your brain responds by activating the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight system. Your heart rate spikes, muscles tense, digestion slows, and blood rushes to your limbs, preparing for action. That's helpful when you're running from a tiger, but not so great if you're dealing with non-physical stressors like financial problems, not enough time, or relationship issues. The problem is that modern life keeps most people stuck in fight or flight mode. The sympathetic nervous system, or SNS for short, is designed to help you survive physical threats. The sympathetic nervous system originates deep in the brain and sends signals down the spinal cord, where the sympathetic nerve fibers exit along the back. These fibers then reach the sympathetic chain ganglia. And a ganglia is just a cluster of nerve fibers. That's where they connect with other nerves that transmit the messages to the target organs. And it might look like this. The brain sends a signal down the spinal cord. It exits in the upper back, where it comes to the chain ganglia, then travels on to the eye, right over here, causing the pupil to dilate. Next, the effects on your heart. The sympathetic nervous system increases heart rate and blood pressure to flood your muscles with oxygen, great for action in the short term, but in the long term can cause chronic high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. The sympathetic nervous system causes the airways in your lungs to expand to let in more oxygen, and breathing speeds up. The sympathetic nervous system also constricts blood vessels to increase blood pressure and redirect blood flow to the brain, heart, and skeletal muscles during a fight or flight response. This is great for physical activity, but in the long term leads to high blood pressure and increased risk of cardiovascular disease. And here are these pathways. The brain sends its signal down to the upper part of the back, where it then sends signals to the heart, lungs, and blood vessels. The sympathetic nervous system has a strong effect on the organs of digestion. It directs the liver to release stored glucose, to raise blood sugar, and provide fuel for your muscles. Great in the short term, but over time, high blood sugar can make it hard to lose weight. Gallbladder function is suppressed, further slowing digestion and promoting the development of gallstones over the long term. Digestive activity is suppressed, shifting the resources to the muscles, eyes, and brain. Great for handling dangerous situations, but over time causes acid reflux, bloating, constipation, or loose bowels. And here are these pathways. The sympathetic nervous system sends messages down to the middle back area where the nerves exit the spine, come to the spinal chain ganglia, then travel on to the organs of digestion. Over here we see it reaching the liver, where it increases glucose availability, to the gallbladder, where it reduces gallbladder function, to the stomach, where it slows digestion, and to the intestines, further slowing digestion. The kidneys, adrenal glands, and sexual organs are also deeply affected. At the kidneys, urine output is suppressed, while the adrenal glands release adrenaline, a stress hormone that amplifies the neurological effects of the sympathetic nervous system. During the fight or flight response, sexual function is inhibited. Great if you need all your energy for rapid physical activity, but in the long term, it can lead to low libido, fertility problems, and erectile dysfunction. And these pathways might look like this. Again, the sympathetic nervous system in the brain sends messages down now to the lower back area, where the messages exit the spine, connect at the chain ganglia, and then travel on to the adrenal glands, the kidneys, and to the sexual organs. The problem? In modern life, the threat isn't usually a wild animal. It's more like traffic, emails, and daily stressors that keep this system turned on all the time. At this point, you might be noticing how stress has been affecting your body. Maybe it's a racing heart, trouble sleeping, digestive issue, sexual problems, or a shy bladder. I'd love to hear from you which of these effects you've been experiencing the most. Let me know in the comments below. If the sympathetic nervous system is the gas pedal, the parasympathetic nervous system, or PNS for short, is the brake. It brings your body back to balance, promoting healing, digestion, relaxation, and healthy sexual interest and function. The parasympathetic nervous system starts deep in your brain, and its signals are transmitted either directly from the brain via what's called cranial nerves or down to the base of your spinal cord at the sacrum. This is sometimes called the craniosacral system. One cranial nerve constricts the pupil of the eye, letting in less light, improving focus on close objects and improving clarity of vision. Here's this pathway. This is the brain over here. A nerve coming directly off the brain goes to the eye, affecting the amount of light coming in the eye. Another cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, connects directly to nearly every major organ. The vagus nerve slows heart rate and lowers blood pressure, reducing the risk of heart disease. It constricts airways for relaxed breathing. The vagus nerve enhances liver detoxification and increases bile production and flow. It also promotes healthy digestion and elimination. At the level of the kidneys, the parasympathetic nervous system supports healthy urine production and allows the adrenal glands to enter a state of rest and recovery. And here is the vagus nerve pathway. Here's the brain. The vagus nerve exits directly from the brain, going to the heart, lungs, blood vessels, liver and gallbladder, stomach and intestines, kidneys, and adrenal glands. The sacral portion of the parasympathetic nervous system affects the function of the lower urinary tract, the bladder, and the sexual organs. The parasympathetic nervous system signals the bladder muscles to relax, promoting healthy urine flow. And famously, the parasympathetic nervous system promotes healthy sexual function, interest, and fertility. And here's what the sacral system looks like. Here's the brain over here. The parasympathetic nervous system sends a message all the way down the spinal cord, right to the base over here, the sacral area, which then goes to the lower urinary tract, the bladder, and to the sexual organs, promoting healthy sexual function. Unlike the instant reaction of the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic response is slower and deeper. It prioritizes energy conservation, repair, and long-term health. I'm now going to show you how to find and activate 3 acupressure points that have been used for hundreds of years to turn down the sympathetic nervous system and to turn up the parasympathetic nervous system. Each point works by itself, but as a team, they produce best results. The first point is known as 100 meetings because it primarily affects the brain and spinal cord. This research-tested point is located on the top of your head. Push in to find a point that is sensitive, sore, tender, or painful. That is the point. Massage this point in a circular motion for 20 to 30 seconds, like this. Right up here. Or if you have a Tei Shin, you can pulse it 25 times, like this. And here's another view. The next point, widely recognized in India and East Asia as the third eye, is known for promoting calmness. Find the point that is located to be the inner ends of your eyebrows, right over here. Now, a little below it is a divot where your nose is, but this point is on a platform of bone right here. Push in to find a point that is sensitive, sore, tender, or painful. That is the point. Massage this point in a circular motion for 20 to 30 seconds, like this. Now, let's take a few deep breaths and notice if you're feeling calmer. The third point of this powerful trio is known as spirit gate because it is believed to balance heart function and reduce feelings of anxiety and stress. This point is located on your wrist. Start by finding the point where your pinky and ring finger meet, right over here. Then draw an imaginary line down to your wrist crease, which is right over here. The place where the imaginary line in your wrist crease meet is the point. Push in gently to find a spot that is sensitive, sore, tender, or painful. That is the point. Massage this point in a circular motion for 20 to 30 seconds, like this. Now, there are some important arteries and nerves there, so you shouldn't use any deep pressure. You can use a Tei Shin if you have one, pulsing it 25 times like this. And here's another view. Now find and activate this point on your other wrist. Research shows that this point can have a positive effect on your nervous system. The next step to reduce stress and promote healing is to improve sleep. I've put my video Sleep right over here. Have a look.